Would you like to learn how to easily deliver grade A driving lessons and pass your Part 3 test? If you do, then you need to watch this video tutorial, which is going to show you how to effectively use 3 simple words. And if you hang around to the end, you'll be able to find out about a very special introductory offer to my Part 3 course, which is going to be launching very soon. Studying for your Part 3 test? Let me take a guess. You're struggling to get your head around the 17 competencies, and you're stressing about that day when you have the examiner in the car assessing you against those competencies. If that's you, keep watching, because I'm about to make things massively easier for you. If you're training to be an instructor with a driving school, or perhaps you've been watching videos or reading books about the Part 3 test, it's likely your head has been bombarded with the importance of the 17 competencies you'll be assessed against, which is probably feeling intimidating, overwhelming, and stressful. In this video, and through my online training, I'm hopefully going to take away all that anxiety and show you how passing Part 3 simply requires using 3 words: discovery, clarity, and practice. At the start of any driving lesson, you need to use discovery to get some potentially important information. Let me show you what I mean. In any discovery phase of a lesson, you need to figure out some potentially important stuff that could, well, impact on the way that you design and deliver the lesson. So first of all, particularly at the beginning of the lesson, you need to check in with them to find out how are they, both physically and mentally. What's happened since you last met them, both in terms of their sort of general lives and also more specifically about any driving practice they've done since you last took them on official lesson. Then, based on that information, you can have a conversation to discuss and agree what you're going to practice. So is it going to be something that's brand new to them, or perhaps you're going to recap something that you've done before, or perhaps both? And then how are you going to practice? What sort of challenges based on their level of knowledge, confidence, ability are they going to face based on the route that you're going to go? And also, therefore, what sort of support they're going to need. From your own point of view, you also need to consider, of course, the weather and the traffic, because again, they could be important factors in terms of what you do, how you do it, and where you do it. You don't necessarily need to ask all of these questions or ask them in a specific order. And often, your student will volunteer information without you even asking a question. As you'll see in a moment, it's just having a chat to baseline the key factors. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. You've had a good day so far?
I've not actually done much today, to be honest. I've had loads of study periods and frees and stuff like that. So I've only had about 2 lessons. So not very productive.
And what have you been up to since I saw you last?
I did the bridge and I did Grimston Bar roundabout.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Good.
Making progress, so yeah.
And how did that go?
They both went fine. Yeah. They're absolutely fine. And then I drove into town, like the back roads, and then I did the roundabout at Go Outdoors, like that one. So I drove to Go Outdoors and then the roundabout at Moss Cross as well. So yeah, slowly getting there.
Good, okay. Was that with mum or dad or both?
Dad.
Yeah, and how was he? What was his feedback, if anything?
He was fine actually, it was just getting prepared, like in gear before the junction. Like I'd get in gear as I was approaching the junction, and then it just was happening a bit too slow, like the pulling away and everything.
Right, okay.
So it was just having to get all that sorted beforehand, but then after that it was fine.
Right, okay, cool. Right, so we've got an hour and a half today, haven't we?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was thinking, got a couple of options really, but one option, I'll explain both. One option was to drive out of here, go up to Grimston Bar roundabout,
Yeah.
turn left, go down on the dual carriageway,
Yeah.
okay, via the slip road,
Yeah.
head off down towards Monk's Cross, and then come off at Hopgrove roundabout, and then work our way over to where Sainsbury's is at Monk's Cross.
Yeah.
Okay, which is where the test centre is
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. And then we could do some work on roundabouts around there.
Yeah.
Because whatever route you go on your test, you're
There's
going
always
to
going
have
to be roundabout.
quite a few roundabouts to deal
Yeah.
with. Okay, so that's sort of option number one. Option number two would be basically the same route, but when we get over to Sainsbury's car park, rather than focusing mainly on roundabouts, we could focus mainly again on parking, using their car park.
Yeah, I think probably the parking one today. I did some parking, so I drove to the park and ride, and it just wasn't working on Sunday. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't get in the lines. My timing was completely off for when to turn in, so I could get it straight. I was just literally, the line for each side was directly in the middle of the car.
Right. Okay.
Next, you need to establish clarity on what's going to happen when the wheels start rolling, how much support your student may need, how you will deliver that, where you're going to be driving, and any stress points that might throw up. Again, let me show you what I mean and give you some examples of questions you can ask. When it comes to gaining clarity, then again, there are some important and open questions that you need to ask. So in terms of the subject you're going to be focusing on in the initial stages of the lesson, again, check in with them. Are you going to be covering something that's brand new or recapping something that you have done before? Based on that and the route that you're going to be taking, are you going to need to give them full talk-through instruction, prompted instruction, or are they going to be driving independently? And could that fluctuate throughout the course of the drive in the initial stages? It might be that for parts of the drive, they'll be quite able to drive independently. Other times, they may well need to have prompted instruction. And then when it comes to delivering a specific lesson topic, particularly if it's something new, then the likelihood is you're going to need to give them full talk-through initially to begin with. And then thinking about the practice area, where is that going to be? Can they visualize how they're going to drive from where you're starting the lesson over to that practice area? Because that could really help them. So consider the route and then any sort of challenges that might throw up along the way. And then in terms of the broad structure of the lesson, in terms of the initial burst of practice, how long is that going to be? And then after that burst of practice, what are you going to do? And here's what that looks and sounds like for real.
Right, well, let's start off with that then. If we can get that fixed quickly, we might still have a bit of time to do some roundabouts, okay? So, just thinking about the initial route then. So we're going to pull out of here, we're going to turn left. Okay, we're going to go to the very end of the road and then turn left again, and then to the very end of that road and turn left again. And then that takes us up to the roundabout where the petrol station is.
Yeah.
Then we're going to turn right and head down towards Grimston Bar roundabout.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come off at the first exit and then join the dual carriageway.
Yeah.
So visualising all of that in your head, how much, if any of it, do you feel like you would be confident in dealing with on your own? What parts, if any, would you want me to give you some support and guidance with?
Probably Grimston Bar and then pulling off into Monk's Cross, but I should be okay.
Okay.
I'm pulling out of here.
Right, okay.
It's very busy.
To be honest, it's probably going to be the most challenging part of the whole drive.
Yeah.
Okay. So in these types of situations, we don't have any choice other than just to work our way through the situation.
Yeah.
Little bit by little bit by little bit. Okay. So given this girl is about to jump in what looks like her mum's car, do you think it might be worth waiting for that car to pull away?
Because then you've got more room.
Yeah. So like anything else, we just need to suck in as much visual information as we can get. And in these types of situations, it changes very, very rapidly. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just get into first, ready to go.
Oh god, my seat is not far enough forward. I did not realise that in time for my foot all the way down the clock.
Is your mirror adjusted correctly?
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay.
And then let's have a look at the questions that you should ask yourself when it comes to practice. At this stage, you need to be fully aware of, again, the important key factors. So what's going through their heads? What are their thoughts? What's happening in terms of your immediate surroundings, in terms of other road users? And as the wheels get rolling, or perhaps even before they get rolling, are there any faults that are happening that you need to take note of and potentially bring to your students' attention? In terms of planning, think about how early you're going to need to time your instructions and route directions, and also the level of instruction or support that you're going to give to your students. And think about the level of control that you might need. Is that likely to be verbal or physical, or perhaps both? And then based on what is actually happening on the road as the wheels get rolling, are you going to continue doing what you had discussed with the student in terms of the initial focus of the lesson, or are you going to need to change what you're doing based potentially on a safety critical situation? So this requires both feedback from you to them and them to you, and also for you to give clear and accurate information. And here's what that looks and sounds like for real.
Yeah, we're going to go right at this roundabout.
Okay. We're going straight down third exit.
Yep. Just up to 75% on the clutch. Now burst the speed, then you can bring your clutch all the way up. Second gear straight away. That's it. And then move over into the left-hand lane when it's safe to. Try to accelerate at the same speed as other people.
Where are we going at this
We're going to go left, first exit. So make sure you're staying in the left-hand lane. Okay. And now we're going to build up speed rapidly and delay your gear changes. Okay, so not yet, but in a moment we're going to go from third to fifth. Okay, so build up speed rapidly in third, because that way we'll accelerate faster.
Yeah.
Now third to fifth. Now put that right signal, we'll stay in the left-hand lane, keep building that speed up.
Yeah.
So we're going at the same speed as the vehicles that are already on the road.
Yeah.
Now we can start to drift across. Straighten up. Cancel your indicator. Give yourself a moment just to assess what's going on.
Yeah.
And settle into your new speed. Okay, now we're going to overtake.
Okay.
So put the right signal on, check your right door mirror. It's safe. Start to accelerate as you move out. Keep accelerating. Cancel your indicator. Ease off your speed a little bit. You don't want to break the speed.
Yeah.
Into sixth gear. A bit more speed. A bit more speed. Now we're going to stay out in this lane because we're still catching this white van up. So how fast are you going at the moment?
69-ish, 68.
Okay, just keep it there then. Now we're going to wait until we can see the whole of this white van in our left door mirror before we move back across. Okay, just in case they speed up as we overtake them. So put the left indicator on now and drift across. Don't steer, just let it drift. Okay. Very nice, good work.
After that, it's just basically rinse and repeat. After the first burst of practice, discover what went well or perhaps not so well and why. Establish clarity on what you're going to do next, where and how. Then do some more practice focused on what's been discussed and agreed. Watch the rest of this student's lesson where I put that into action.
Okay, cool. So just before we talk about parking, any thoughts about the drive over?
It was okay. I just went a bit too quickly into everything. Just didn't really have enough time to think. But apart from that, it was okay.
Yeah. So we'll work on that a bit today.
Yeah.
Okay. It's surprising. You don't need to slow down that much, and suddenly it just feels like you've got loads more time. And then life gets a lot easier and a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what was it that you were trying to do? Were you reversing into a parking bay?
No, literally just pulling in.
Just driving forwards
Yeah.
into a bay. Right. Okay. So what sort of process were you applying? Let's see if we can figure out where it was going wrong.
It was just kind of when to steer.
Right. Okay. So I don't want to put words into your mouth, but were you sort of like winging it and hoping for the best, or were you actually applying some form of process?
I was trying to think through it, but like when I got to where I thought I should be, I'd turn too quickly or I'd turn too late, and then I'd just end up half and half in a parking space.
Right. Okay. See if you can give me an insight into what you were doing. Were you turning that way, or were you turning that way, or were you doing both?
Just
Right.
still couldn't do it.
Okay, so replicate what you were doing the other day if you can. Okay, don't worry if it doesn't go well.
Okay.
All right, I just want to have a look in and see if I can have an idea of what it is that's going through your head as a process and how we can correct it.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't. Yeah, I mean, you can use those bays on the right, or you can use them on the left, or you can go round in a loop. It's up to you.
I was like getting to here, and then I was like just trying to pull it in.
Okay. Well, that worked.
Yeah. Of course, the time that I try and do it wrong, it actually works. Wow, that's quite amazing, actually.
You are a little bit tight on this side, okay. But that said, let's A, slow everything right down. B, let's put a little bit of a process in it so that you're likely to get it right first time, right, rather than hoping for the best.
Now, let me explain why using discovery, clarity, and practice means you can stop stressing about the 17 competencies. When you're using discovery, clarity, and practice, what you need to understand is it's a cyclical process. Using discovery will help you score strongly in the lesson planning section of the Part 3 test. Using clarity will help you score strongly in the risk management section of the test. And then using practice will help you score strongly in the teaching and learning strategies section of the test. In my Part 3 online course launching soon, I go a lot deeper and show you more real-life examples of how to use discovery, clarity, and practice in driving lessons. Plus, I'll guide you through the whole Part 3 process, give you video tutorials on the essential teaching techniques you'll need, help you nail your final exam, fully prepare for the day of your test, and then consider your next steps. If you use the link below, you can pre-register for my Part 3 course now, and the first 50 people who register will get a 50% discount when the course goes live. As always, please like and subscribe to get further content to help you pass your ADI exams, become a happy, successful, and profitable instructor, and improve your driving skills.